Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks for joining me for day one of my Crafty Org Challenge. This is a challenge for myself, and I hope others will join me to get organized in the 29 days that are in February this year because it's a leap year. So I wanted to go ahead and put that hashtag out there in case you wanted to use it on social media or Instagram. I will be posting daily on Instagram what my progress is, and I will try and make a video every day if there's enough content to make a video with. So I hope you will join me on that. I've kind of created 7 steps that I think are going to make me successful in this challenge. The first one is asking yourself, what is your style, your organizational style? What is important to you? How much space do you have? And what is your budget? So organizational style, everybody is individual in how they want their stuff. For me, I like to have my stuff out in the open, or at least most of my stuff, because then I remember to use them, especially my color stuff. I love being able to see it. It reminds me that it's there and it's easy to get to. What is important to you? For me, that is, I like organizing by product type. So I like items to be together in the same vicinity as others. So that's what I mean, what is important to you. I also like to have the smallest footprint possible. So I always like to go small rather than go big as far as container types and things like that. Another thing to consider is how much space you have and what your budget is if you would need to purchase new containers or storage items. Number 2 is taking a mental inventory of whatever item you have. Research storage solutions, decide on storage type, location, and budget, and then dedicate yourself to that storage item. So taking a mental inventory of an item, say one thing at a time. So your stamps, you kind of probably know how many stamps you have. And then if you need a storage solution or you don't like your storage solution, that's just going on the internet and kind of researching. And I'm hoping through doing these videos that you'll get some ideas from me, but I know there's a lot of storage solutions out there. And then deciding on the type of storage, where you're going to put that item, and if it is in your budget to either purchase an item or reuse another storage item you already have on hand in your craft room. And then dedicate yourself to that storage item. What I mean by that after you've taken your mental inventory, you kind of have an idea of how big of a storage compartment or how you want to organize for that item or those items. And then dedicate yourself to that storage by only keeping the items that will fit in that container. And that doesn't necessarily mean to buy the biggest container you can find just to make sure that you can keep everything. What it is buying a size that is suitable so that anything that doesn't fit in that container, you are either destashing it by giving it away or donating it or selling it, or that is not buying more items like that particular item. And if you do want to buy more items, then that is taking out things that you like the least or don't use as much. This has helped me a great deal in the past in not overbuying things. And when I have something in a container, and I don't always stick to this, but when I have something in a container, like you'll see in this video, how I have my shimmer powders, once that's filled or when my inventory book is filled, I will not buy any more. That brings me to number 3, which is destash, which I kind of talked about already. If it doesn't fit, get rid of it. And so I try to live by that motto. Like I said, it does not always work. But for example, like I love the powders, but I have every color, and I think I have so many variations of it that, you know, when I see a new powder come on the market from a different company or something like that, I just have to take a step back and say, you know what, you don't need that. It won't fit. So that's number 3, destash. And if it doesn't fit in the container, then get rid of it. So number 4 in the steps to success is to take inventory and then put away and organize. So once you've gone through the first couple of steps and what you have remaining in your supplies is to make sure you have an inventory, whether that's an electronic inventory, a mental inventory, whether you have like a swatch book or something like that. It's always a great idea. I have bought multiples in the past by not knowing what I've had, and I'm sure a lot of people do that. So it's a good idea to have some sort of inventory of your supplies. However you organize it or organize that or do that portion is totally up to, you know, how you like things done. But I think it's a great idea to help you keep track of your items is to take inventory. And then next, number 5 is give yourself a pat on the back, because if you've completed all of these steps, congratulations. It is not an easy thing. For me, what I'm going to do is do one thing at a time and not get distracted by the other things I find when I am organizing. So it's going to be easiest, at least for me, to sit here and do one item at a time. And then the next one is to stay organized. This is something that you have to stay on top of. I haven't, and my craft room, it's embarrassing. It's a huge mess. And so what I started doing actually last year was having a box, or sometimes I use the top of my Rascot container or cart. And every time I'm doing a project is to put away things in that after I'm done. And then just, you know, when I'm done with the project, just walk around the room and put everything away. Number 7 is repeat in 6 months. So I like to destash every 6 months. That's just me. But it's a good idea to kind of go through your stuff every once in a while and see what you no longer need. So for day 2, I organized my embossing folders. And this was pretty good, quick process for me because I feel like I'm constantly going through them. I only had 2 to add. But here is the before. I had all of my embossing folders in one of the fridge bins. And this is the same. I got a set of fridge bins probably 2 years ago from Sam's Club, and they were on like discount. So I got this and several other like different sizes. And so this was really super convenient for me to have all my embossing folders in. I did destash my embossing folders, but I still think I have too many. So that's one of the reasons I like destashing every 6 months, because it helps me to really get rid of stuff that I'm not using. And initially it was hard to get rid of stuff, but I've found that it is getting easier the more that I do it. So here's a top view, a still shot of my embossing folders. And then the after, so I cleaned out, I didn't count them, but it was quite a few that I was able to get rid of. And so this is the extra space that is in my storage container. And because I had so much extra space, I went ahead and decided to get a smaller container. So hopefully this will prevent me from buying more embossing folders, because while I have a little bit of room in my new container, there's not a ton. And so this is a container from the dollar store. It is one that I have recycled several times. Sorry about that camera action there. That I have put away and taken out and put away and taken out as I've organized over time. And that's my messy, that is my messy area. Good job, Jen. So here is the container. It's a little bit smaller. It's not as strong as the fridge bin, but I think it will work well for my embossing folders. So I got 2 new embossing folders, and I'm going to show you the process I do when I get new ones in and how I organize. So now I have an empty container that I can use for something else. So I just set that aside and I will see if I can use that. And if I can't use it, then I'll just go ahead and put it up in my container graveyard, and maybe it will be called upon at a later time. So that helps me in that I don't have to keep buying new different containers. So here is the how-to. This is really super easy. I'm sure others do this as well. I've gone through several different changes with my embossing folders and how I organize them, and I've found that I really, really like this method. So all I'm doing is I'm taking white cardstock, and I have 2 different tab sizes. I have a large size and a small. So the large size, the cardstock is 5.5 by 6. And then for the smaller, which is the like regular size embossing folders, it is, I believe it's 4 3/4 by 6. And all I'm using is this We Are Memory Keepers tab punch board. And this little doohickey here, it goes into the space that says side tab. And so all I do is put my paper in there and press down, and it makes this cool little kind of like file folder tab. and then I turn my paper over and it does the same on the other side, and that's really it. That's how I make my dividers. And so when I do my embossing folder, I make sure that I have enough up on that tab so that when I'm flipping through, I can see it very easily. So this is the way that I inventory my embossing folders. I don't have a separate a book or binder or whatever for my embossing folders. I really like this because I am a flipper. I like flipping through stuff. So I found that this works great for me. I can easily find stuff. You'll notice that I don't have tabbed dividers like into categories or anything like that. For me, I don't want to take the extra time to do that, and plus it works for me just slipping through. So I might have some like items together, but for the most part, they're just kind of placed in there, and I just flip through them to see what I want to use. So the giveaway is just embossing folders for day number 2, and so these are all the embossing folders that I will be giving away. There's several, just several different brands of embossing folders. I also have some plates. I got these from a garage sale, I believe, and I believe you use them like embossing folders. I've never used them before, so I'm not really sure. I have to look into how those are used, but these are the embossing plates. They're Fiskars, and there is one Sizzix. So they have an impression on both sides of the plate. Like I said, I'm not really sure how to use these. I'm sure it says the instructions, or hopefully it says in the instructions on my Big Shot sandwich. So, so those are those. And then I have a bunch of little like border strips and smaller embossing folders, some with words, some just images. And so this is the day 2 giveaway, and as I mentioned before, the giveaway for the entire week will go to one person. So days 1 through 7 will all go through to one person. So every day you have the option to have 2 entry giveaways. One is by leaving a comment on the video, and one is by leaving a comment on Instagram, for a total of 14 during the week for week 1 through 7. Days 1 through 7, and to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel, leave a comment below, and follow me and leave a comment on Instagram under this post, and I have already posted that. And then also for more details, there is a Google Doc. If you want to enter the giveaway and do it through YouTube, please just click on that Google Doc and fill. All I'm asking for is your email address and your name. It's easier for me to contact you if I have your email address, and I don't want you to have to leave that in the comments for everybody to see. And so I want to be able to contact you, and I think this is probably going to be easier. A lot of times in the past when I've done giveaways, I haven't been able to contact the winner, and so I'm hoping this will help me be able to get in touch with you if you are the winner. All the deadlines and all of that are in that Google Doc, so please check it out. And as always, if you liked this video or found it informative, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.